Hey, Ricky.
Hey there, Michael. How are you doing,
I'm
sir?
good. I'm good. I've been trying to think of some things. There's a special day coming Monday, and want to figure out something to get for that special person in my life. And
It is Valentine's Day,
oh, that's
the
right,
day of
the
love.
day of love. And here at Speaking Nerdy, we care about you.
Yes, we do.
And with that in mind, we want to make sure that you receive this public service announcement from us at Speaking Nerdy.
This is a Speaking Nerdy public service announcement.
Hey guys, this is the Florida Man with your Valentine's Day assist with the top 10 things you don't want to do on Valentine's Day. Number 10. Hello. Number 10. Don't get the same gift you got her last year. Number 9. A cookbook. That won't end well.
By the
Number
way,
8.
I'm really impressed by this. Okay, go ahead.
A perfume that smells like your mom or that attractive coworker you're constantly going on and on about.
Oh.
Ooh. Number 7. Anything she needs, like a teeth cleaning appointment.
Oh.
Number 6.
Oh.
Hello. Anything from a hardware store. That should go on your honey-do list, not your honey wish list.
Oh, that's like, oh yeah, that's good. That's good to know.
Number 5. Any gadget you want more than she does. So guys, if
That's true.
it involves surround sound, voice activation, or game controllers,
Yes.
It's probably not a good idea.
That or a battery.
Yeah. Number 4. Fitness equipment or a gym membership. Just no, don't do it. Don't do it.
No, don't do it.
Let's see.
Gym's no fun anyhow.
Number 3. Any appliance.
Again,
Vacuum cleaner, microwave.
anything
do
with
it.
batteries.
Number 2. Spanx.
Is that Spanx or spandex?
Spanx.
What is a
Don't do
Spanx? Is that something out like in Egypt? Is it like the Spanx?
No, that's a modern day version of a girdle.
Oh, that's not right.
And last but not least, a breakup text or email. This has been the Florida Man saying, you've been warned. Good luck.
And yeah.
This has been a Speaking Nerdy public service announcement. It's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Shilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe. Wow. Hey, where's my buddy? Here he is. And wasn't it awesome? The Florida
was
Man.
great.
I tell you,
That
I
was
really,
great.
I really liked that, and I was really surprised the last minute. I mean, I didn't have time to come up with those titles, and I'm telling you what, we're gonna put him to work more because
I know.
I mean, that was good, wasn't it?
He had him on the screen and everything.
I know it. I
was
know
awesome.
And he said all that stuff. I knew his wife was somewhere there between the spandex and the battery and appliances and toothbrush. But hey, but the guy who just did it, let's bring him on out. Our good friend, Mr. Todd V, the Florida Man himself. Hello.
Hey. For the record, my wife said any jewelry and the more sparkly, the better.
Really? Same with Spanx.
Sparkly Spanx.
If they're bedazzled.
Bedazzled. I thought you were gonna say like spandex or something, but I was thinking I was kind of concerned, I didn't know if it would be, like a vacuum cleaner at first, a toaster. But you said appliances, so that makes sense. That this covers all of it. So
It does.
the whole
yes.
piece of it. So that's good. That's gentlemen, just remember that. Just remember it's coming soon, and don't be a schmuck. So okay, so there's so much going on. I mean, we have a big show that's a big finale. I mean, my goodness, you know how we talk about
Yes.
last week's show that there's even the past couple of shows. No way are they going to put all this stuff together at the last minute. Ding, 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 ding. We were wrong then. This time, I mean, pretty much they just made the sandwich. I mean, there was no ingredient they left out. So, well, before we get to that, we got some nerdy happenings of the week. Ricky, lay it on us.
Big announcement is Kenobi is going to be released on May 25th, the anniversary of the release of Episode 4, A New Hope.
Which you were really close. You were really close. I mean, you made a prediction last week in private
I made a prediction that it was going to be May 4th.
Which made sense.
And there's lots of reasons that May 4th made sense, but I actually like this better because I like it being the anniversary
I love that.
Of A New Hope. So
I would love to go. I mean, on the side note, wouldn't it be great if they re-released the 1977, just the original, not
the original,
unadulterated. Yes, I would love to watch that again. Even the adulterated be fine, but as long as it's original. So anyway, so that's awesome.
Yep, and the other thing is Futurama is coming back.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I am so excited about this too.
I am so psyched.
Going to be 20 episodes, going to be airing on Hulu.
Oh, yes.
We don't know yet. I don't know yet whether this is going to be a weekly release or if this will be an all at one time. It's a kind of a weird situation because most of the cast is already planning to come back.
Yeah, it was awesome.
There are some concerns because they haven't finalized the negotiations for the voice of Bender.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, no.
They said if they are not able to get the negotiations to go through properly, they will recast Bender.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, thank you. I see some comments coming in. Thank you guys for joining tonight, for viewing and being a part of this, and gals too. We don't discriminate on here. We're all nerds. And thank you for joining tonight. We're going to have a great time. Give your feedbacks in. Hey, Keith, I'm so glad to see you. I see David's on too. I think, and I know we have some people watching on the YouTubes as well. So, hey guys, how you doing? And ladies, we appreciate you watching. And anything, and I just wanted to get that out of the way because I want to make sure people know that we care. So any other news besides Futurama is big because I'm excited about that, but I am concerned about this whole Bender.
Yep.
And that,
Keith says won't be right without him. I agree. Totally.
You are totally right, Keith. Totally.
I'm going to have to polish my shiny metal something.
Used to have the original on Laserdisc. That's awesome, David. Laserdisc. Man.
That's awesome, though. I wish I still did.
Wasn't that those shiny records?
What's that?
Those are shiny records?
Yeah, that was great.
Much. Yeah. I'll tell you what I do have, though.
Yeah?
I have a Super 8 that is Star Wars. It's the color version with sound.
Yeah.
It's not the whole movie. It's just like little snippets of the movie.
They used to do
but they had this little small Super 8 box that you could buy back in the 70s.
I love it.
I found a copy on eBay and snapped it up. David,
that's
I had to flip them halfway through the movie. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember that.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I always saw them, and I never had one, and I had friends who had them, and I thought, oh, man, this is the future.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was so awesome. So anyway, that's cool to actually have that. I mean, that's just or anything as a display for a collection item. Do we have anything else besides that? I didn't know whether anything else we had coming up on that.
A couple new trailers. There was a new Jurassic Park trailer. There's a new Buzz Lightyear trailer. But I don't know of anything else that stands out as huge new news.
Yeah.
Nothing else that I'm aware of. I'm sure there are things that I've missed, but those are the two big things that I cared about.
Same here. And one thing I care about is this last episode, Chapter 7.
Oh my goodness, it was so good.
Good.
It had everything and the Rancor too.
I mean, it was. I mean, it's amazing. Tonight, one thing you have to remember: we've had little sleep, so we are going to have major foobahs. Okay, and
it has been a long day for everybody.
I went with crazy. I mean, it's one of these things. Usually I try not to have that many images, but this was so good. It kept saying, I can't leave this one out. I can't leave this one out. And pretty soon our host on StreamYard basically said, that's enough. So, so anyway, yeah. So, man, I don't know where to start, but I guess we start off.
David, before we start off,
David's asking about.
David, I tried to. We haven't addressed this issue. We were, I don't even know what to say.
We've been discussing this a lot off screen.
Yes.
We've been trying to watch it.
Yes. So
I have not tried yet. I am going to give it a shot. Yeah. I did slog through 10 episodes of MODOK so that no one else had to watch it.
I appreciate that too.
If I can say, Ricky,
but
unlike MODOK,
Peacemaker
is very funny.
Oh, it's definitely funny.
It's just the content.
I feel
risque.
I feel so dirty. I feel dirty.
Okay. He can't get past the intro.
I know. That's right.
It is a very corny intro.
It is.
It's
yes.
funny.
It's almost like
very 80s dance
video.
Well, I think none of those
it's
people
the sunshine
have any
day. Yeah. I feel like the Brady Bunch is going to jump out and start singing that. Yeah. So I don't know. We've talked about it, and it's really we've talked about it. That's about it. So
I don't know that we'll ever discuss it fully on the show.
Yes.
This may be the only discussion we ever get. So here you go, David. The answer is no.
No. We don't want to get shut down. So let's get into this. So the last time we remember, the Pikes blew up Sanctuary Cantina. Now my biggest concern is, did Max survive? Max Rebo, did he survive? I didn't see him in there.
He had to.
But
he had to survive.
Yeah, I didn't see him in there.
He's survived explosions before.
Yes.
He has to have survived this.
He's like the MacGyver of whatever species he is. I mean, I don't know what his deal is. And if all people to save, I mean, he's kind of like a poor man's Grogu. I mean, he's basically. So anyhow,
well, he's got a key on his keyboard that when he hits it, he gets that whole droidica.
Yeah, he does.
Force field thing.
Is that what it is?
Him.
Well, by the way, and speaking of that, there's some droids on here that kind of go, kind of play back to the earlier Star Wars from.
Yes, they do look a little like the droids from episode
Battle
1.
Droids. Battle droids, or I don't know.
Similar, but much larger.
Yes. So let's get started. Like I said, the last time we got with our heroes, the cantina blew up, and basically now we see our heroes discussing what's going on. Assessing the damage from the Sanctuary Cantina. And I don't know, from this scene, and I mean, what was your prediction? What did you, in your mind, think, okay, this is how the show will progress? I mean, I didn't know. I mean, the last episode, I'm thinking, okay, I missed the mark on that one.
Oh, yeah. We all missed it on that one. I had a good feeling that I think this episode happened similarly to what I expected.
Yeah.
Not everything fell into place,
but not in the beginning. In the beginning, we kind of thought this was going. It
was a little slow at the beginning.
Yeah, but also we thought too that if we thought, okay, yeah, we'll see the Mandalorian, but it was going to be like a cameo. He's in, he's out, and this story would continue on, and that did not happen.
No. Mandalorian became a major player. I actually expected him to stay a major player, in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be in and out on this one.
No, not
But
on this
I
one.
did-
No, after they set up the last one, I didn't think so either.
Yeah, but I did feel like it did almost come across as the Mando show again.
Well, it really did. The man,
know,
yes.
There's something about the way that character looks.
Yeah.
Even standing next to Boba Fett,
Yeah.
there's just something super
regal.
impressive.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, something special
He's
about
just-
him when he's standing there.
I mean, as much as they've done this job about, turning Boba Fett into the softer and kinder Boba, you still, next to Mando, it's just, there's some elevation about the Mandalorian.
Yes.
It's, I tell you what, there's some scenes that this grown man cried. But anyhow, there's some really good stuff in this. But in the beginning, they talked about, they were talking about what happened. And, and they mentioned Freetown. And we all understand, Freetown, they're thinking that they're going to get, they thinking that they're going to get like
garrison.
Garrison. And
I think the word they use.
yeah. And
I don't know I don't know how many people is a garrison.
but that was not a garrison.
That was
came.
not a garrison.
even if Cobb Vanth didn't get gunned down, and that was considered a garrison.
Yeah.
I mean that was like a entourage. I mean that wasn't really a garrison. But anyhow,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then this is everything comes to play in this next scene.
This is an interesting scene.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
a garrison is 500 soldiers.
Well,
Yeah,
the
they didn't
math,
get that.
They didn't get the
No.
math on that.
No.
So, but this scene, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say this scene is interesting because I know I didn't speculate this. Maybe you did, Mike.
Yeah, I
maybe
did,
Todd
yeah.
did. A couple of you guys speculated that exactly what's explained in this
Yeah,
is what
exactly.
happened. That it wasn't the bikers that killed the Tuskens, but rather it was the Pikes.
Yeah.
And them setting up the bikers, which
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And it makes me go, it just a little bit goes, wow, Boba just slaughtered some people for no reason.
Exactly. Even though
Which
they
is a little
deserved it.
sad.
But anyway, yeah.
And we never addressed that.
No, we never did.
Never
Well,
addressed
and that was the thing. After that episode, I mentioned that. I thought, I bet you anything that's a setup. Because the Pikes, and we looked at it, and of course, in the scene too, I mean, it was interesting because, well, anyway, in this scene, they find out the first time that, well, we wiped out the Sand People.
Yeah.
And we blamed it, like you said. And from there, I mean, but the mayor in this scene, and we all remember the mayor.
The mayor is still on planet.
Yeah.
We've always discussed, well, in all the other episodes recently, it was, he left the planet.
Yeah.
He's not even here.
No, I mean, Mark
but
Chalet
he was still there.
Yeah, the mayor, he's concerned about the explosions. He wasn't happy with the whole cantina explosion.
Yep.
And I think he found out more and more in this scene that he has actually less of a say than he actually thought he was going to have.
Yes.
And, he was concerned about, I want my town back like intact. This is not going to help me if I come back to Rebel. And
Yes.
so that was an interesting scene. And of course, and Bane is really crafty. He took that information and he used it to his advantage later on. So
did.
That was brilliant.
it really
and
was.
I honestly, when he, if we want to, do we want to jump there or do we want to wait to come to that scene?
Well, I mean, we can talk about it. We have a lot coming up here, but that might be something we can jump to if you feel. I mean, since
Okay.
we're talking
Well,
about it, what do you think?
I was just gonna say, I thought it was interesting that Cad Bane decided to use this information he had just gathered, kind of against Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of one of those. Did he use it against Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Or did he also kind of use it as a, hey, I get two things out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
I get to bust Boba Fett on, I get to destroy his hopes and dreams to find out that this is really what happened. And at the same time, I kind of poke the Pikes just a little bit. Because now Boba's not going to be thinking about me necessarily.
That's a good thought.
He's going to be hardcore against the Pikes, which he already was, but he was just to get them off planet. Well, now he actually has a vendetta against the Pikes.
Well, it's interesting, and we're kind of jumping around. We'll still show some of the images.
I think he was trying to get Boba Fett off balance.
Yeah. Well, I think, in thinking about that too, there's a past relationship there. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's Bane was questioning the hypocrisy of Fett. Let's say, in the one scene he talks about, really, you're calling us murderers. Look at your past. And what I thought was interesting, but throughout their conflict, their meetings, is that constantly he's poking Fett about, his hypocrisy.
You haven't changed.
You haven't
You're
changed.
the same guy.
What's your angle? That's the one thing he said. What's your angle? And each time Fett would come back with this kind of a pious type of reply, even though I think he believes it. But, it's just a contrast that we talked about before. It was almost like there wasn't really a story arc from Fett, the old Fett to the new Fett, unless, it was kind of almost like the Mandalorian, which he was a bounty hunter. But there was kind of an arc for him, though. Well,
and as I understand, you mentioned they have a backstory together.
Yeah.
As I understand, it's either a scene that was cut. I'm not sure. I didn't quite follow all this.
Yeah.
But somehow Cad Bane is somehow responsible for the dent on Boba Fett's helmet.
Interesting. Yeah.
I believe what the story is there was a scene written that was never put into the Clone Wars show. Yeah, well, most of the people who are here, they've seen it. Hopefully they've seen it. So we're kind of jump around. I want to go to that scene. It was almost, let's see, and it's awesome example of what a Western would look like. Oh, yeah.
But the scene where, and this is basically the scene where Bane comes, negotiates on behalf of the Pikes. Of course, Fett turns him down, and this is where, of course, Bane's let him know all about what happens to his tribe, his family of Sand People. And, of course, in the situation, if it wasn't for Finnick, he would have drew right then and more than likely died because Bane is a quick draw. Yeah. So luckily for Fett, he listened to Finnick. And I think that's interesting. The thing about Fett, and he did it with the mods too, is that it baffles me, but he actually listens to, though, that he's over. I mean, he actually, with the mods, especially with the mods several times where they decided, the mod says, we're not going back to Jabba's palace. We're going to stay here and protect the people. The people need us. And Fett's response from that, we're going to stay here. I mean, he actually has such this open-mindedness that, and he has this, throughout this whole thing, it's all about his replies back to Bane. He said, my people, even with the spice trade in the very beginning, when Freetown, their conditions to come and help was the spice trade would be done. And when Mando told Fett that, he said, okay. And then Finnick was like, whoa, wait a minute. That's all. That's where we make our money. That's a lot of money. And I thought it was interesting because Fett's response was, it's killing our people. Killing our people. There's this...
It's kind of the lesson that he got from the Sand People.
Exactly, and that's Todd.
But the roles were reversed. He was advising the chieftains and the warriors of the Sand People, and they were listening to him. And I think that's the lesson he took away from being with the tribe.
Well, you could make a good point, Todd. That's probably where his story arc actually is at, how it changed him. Yeah. And I think that's a good example. We don't. And that's true. That's how he learned how to be a tribe. Like you said earlier, he said, to succeed, you have to have a tribe.
Right.
And so anyway, but that's one thing that stuck out to me is the morality of Fett, which is not the same Fett who ended up taking, Han Solo to, Jabba's palace.
Yeah, this has been an interesting journey.
Yeah.
with Boba Fett.
Getting a little bit later, guess what we see coming up? This is the X-Wing. And in this scene was interesting as the X-Wing was coming.
Discussions about how he was going to get here.
Yeah, we knew that. And at first I thought, is this going to be is Skywalker bringing him back? But no, it ends up being R2-D2, of course.
Yeah, just R2.
But what's funny in this situation, and I kind of go back a little bit, Rita Perlman was there, and she sees that the X-Wing fighter's coming in, and so she's thinking, oh, crap, it's New Republic officers. They're going to do an inspection, so hide this. And then, even to the point where he lands, he said, I got, hello, officer, I've got my, my certifications. I just filled it out online just now. Yeah. And so I just thought that was interesting. But this is what was really cool. We find out, of course, this is R2, and of course, this is Rita Perlman with, Grogu. But you know what? R2-D2 tells her that his name is Grogu, and she said, that is a terrible name.
Terrible name. It was awesome.
Did you just say Grogu?
Grogu.
Oh, it sounded like you said Grogu.
Oh, I don't need you making fun of my pronunciation. I do that myself.
I thought it was funny when she goes, Did you learn to fly this ship? Did you fly here all by yourself?
Oh, I know.
And the robots down below are like, the R2 unit flew him here. And she goes, I know.
Yeah.
I know. We're it's just the way she babies Grogu is hysterical.
Well, and this is I think this right here symbol says it all when the chainmail is on him.
You have a shiny new coat.
And that, okay, now listen, I'm a Star Wars fan, and the whole relationship between the Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm a father, so some of these scenes kind of tugged at my heart. I was like, because I saw it for a second time, and I thought, oh man, wow, it was like he picked, he picked his father, he picked, and that's the relationship,
Yeah.
So anyway, that was such, I don't know, it was emotional for me, but we go back to the cantina. But before we go any further, okay, so the last scene of the last episode, there's Luke Skywalker and Grogu here, not Grogurt, and you have the Beskar and you have the saber. Now, I had a feeling what was going to be picked.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But was there any doubt? A little bit of a doubt out there? Anybody out there who is commenting? What was your prediction? Did you think?
Yeah, if you guys comment, we'll put it up.
Yeah,
on the
we'll
screen,
put it up there. Let us know what you thought about whether or not did he think Grogu was going to pick the Beskar over the saber or the other way around? So make your comments. We'll post them up.
Yeah, I definitely did not think he would choose the saber. I knew he was going to choose the Beskar. I was a little bit hopeful that he was going to palm the saber and pop it out.
You said that last week. You said that, like in the middle.
Just all of a sudden, or even at the very end of the show.
You didn't want him to go,
pulls it out, and after the battle is all over, he shows off his new toy.
So you didn't want him to go all funny. You didn't want him to go all Yoda on Dooku, flipping around with a sword and stuff like that. David Little Grogu Crocodile Dundee the Rancor. That is awesome. I almost forgot. During the battle, that was the first thing I'm thinking. Where's the Rancor at?
Yes.
Give me that because from the very beginning, Fett wanted to learn how to ride the Rancor. That was his thing. And of course, we weren't, let me see here, we were not, here we go. No. No, never mind. Never mind.
You have too many images.
I have too many images. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I have no idea. But the situation, now this is the thing we all remember. And I mean, remember when Fett had a banquet with all the families?
Yes.
We will abide. We will abide.
Yes.
They didn't abide.
No. Everybody turned. Everybody turned on him, which was, I mean,
kind of predictable.
I kind of expected it. I was surprised they turned on him the way they did.
Yeah.
So openly.
Yeah.
I thought it would be more like, I thought it would be less of, our people are actually starting to attack Fett's
exactly.
people. And more of, we're not just going to be, because he just wanted him to stay neutral.
Yeah,
and I was
exactly.
thinking, I don't think they'll stay neutral. I think they'll start pointing him out and saying, giving them information. But I didn't really figure they were going to draw weapons.
David made a good comment. There's no honor among thieves, and so I agree.
Absolutely.
But you know what? I think the thing that really kind of frustrated me, that did Fett really think that they were going to? I mean, this kind of shows a little bit of being naive. I mean, he honestly thought that they would at least, favor them versus the Pikes. And as far as the families were go,
well,
hey, we're gonna pick. Yeah,
he told Fennec. His comment to Fennec was, they have to realize that the syndicate, the Pikes, are not going to stop.
Yeah.
They're going to take over all of their business as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're going to lose everything if they don't stand by me, or at least get out of the way. They're going to lose everything.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
if they're smart, they'll at least, stand aside. And they decided they were smart and went with the Pikes.
Exactly. And then they had the mods, they had Grand Store, the Wookiee's name.
It is
Karrastan.
Karrastan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Karrastan. And then they also had the Gorium Guards. And
David's got a comment on that.
Yeah, go.
I was surprised that happened too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a little sad.
That was sad. And this is the scene we're talking about.
Are they like Bumbles? Will they bounce back?
I don't think they're Weeble. Yeah, Weeble Wobbles. I don't think so.
And did you guys notice on the far away shot that it looked like a couple of rubber dummies that got thrown off the top of the cliff?
I didn't look that close.
That effect?
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
I thought to myself, poor piggies. I mean, those two guys. I mean,
I couldn't believe they killed them. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, they're expendable, but they were. I don't know. They were so loyal.
They were fierce little pigs.
They were. Well, and they all
they
suddenly.
Weren't really little.
But basically, he had all his people. He had the mods surveying one area. They just had different districts, thinking that the families would not, or the people there would not turn against them. So all suddenly, mods are getting attacked. Karrastan being attacked. I mean, it starts to be really ugly. And of course, all the families, are. This is a scene here, man. I
thought Black Chrysanthemum was done.
I thought so too.
Yeah,
I thought of all the people. Honestly, of all the people that were done, I thought it was going to be them rather than the Gamorrean guards.
I was really surprised that he survived.
I was.
I mean, it was great when you saw him. I think it was wonderful. But for me, it was like, oh wow. And I guess that it could be something. It'd be an interesting story in the future if he plays with another character. But yeah. So, yeah. There you go. I mean. Lizards on a Wookiee.
I thought he was done.
I thought he was done too. I mean, it was just
and
one thing after another.
Isn't that the same group of people that he ripped the guy's arm off earlier?
Yeah, actually, it is. That's poetic justice, I guess.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, but but he takes care of him later on. But eventually, and this is a thing, I guess, and we can talk about this, what happened in Freetown. And of course, when Mando goes to talk to Cobb about needing a garrison, there was a bartender, and most of the people had the feeling, okay, we are Freetown now. We don't want to get involved with the city battle. We want to be left alone. And I also figured out too, there is kind of this class kind of, I don't know, looking down at each other from those in the desert, in the sand versus those in the city. And because there were a little bit of comments there during the battle scene as they were mods and the people of Freetown was in the battle. But going back to what I was talking about, nobody wanted to get involved until, and we all knew this when Cobb was shot by Bane. We all knew that this was rallying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and this came at the last minute. I mean, at the last minute, you had, let's see here, what do we call it here? Okay. This was a good scene too. I'm going back to this.
Where Finnick shows up to save the mods. Because now, I was a little confused here. Finnick had been sent by Boba Fett to go to Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
But she stops by to save the mods real quick.
Exactly.
But she doesn't seem to stop by to save Black Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, it's maybe because she thinks, I don't know. Well, I mean, he wasn't on communication. I never heard him on communication. And the mods communicated.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. Or they called out at the time.
She didn't, come to the Gamorrean Guards rescue either.
Exactly.
Just this one group, and then she's gone basically the rest of the show until the end.
Now, one of my favorite, I think one of the funniest scenes.
David said she's a mod too. That is true.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I think one of the funniest scenes is Mock Shrees, his majordome, the mayor's assistant.
Oh, yes.
How he volunteered that I'm going to negotiate for you.
I'll go negotiate.
I knew how that was going to go.
I did too. I knew.
But
you're stupid, dude.
So he takes his tablet, and Fett says, fine. And he writes whatever is in the tablet. And this is priceless. He comes out before the Pikes. He starts reading. And he starts quoting. And I mean, this is like nothing he thought was going to happen. And
yes.
And I love this.
It's so brilliant.
And I'm going to read this because I actually wrote this down. He reads, the following offer, nothing. You will leave this planet and your spice trade. If you refuse these terms, then the arid sands of Tatooine will once again flourish with flowers, fields, fertilized with your bodies of your dead. I mean, there is no mincing words,
No.
It's almost reminds me of going history, World War II, where the paratroopers were surrounded by the Germans, and they said, they didn't surrender. Where's my thing here? Yeah, so a lot was happening, and this was pretty cool. This was had a little rocket going around, a little fighting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got a little, I don't know, kind of like a, Sundance Kid going on here.
Yep.
And then you got a little bit of, and of course, here comes Freetown, their garrison,
yeah,
on a
garrison.
sleigh, a sleigh with a gun. But I mean, a lot was happening in here. It's just, and of course, okay, this is the part here. I'll let y'all comment.
Where Black Chrysanthemum shows back up?
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And I did like the fact that when he shows back up, he is definitely still monstrous.
Yeah.
And he's still attacking everything. But then all of a sudden you realize he is badly, badly injured and most likely has a broken ankle.
Yeah.
because that 1 foot is just all but draping behind him.
Now, I'm going to do a callback to this later on, but in this scene, I didn't think much about it. But he says, "My friend, we need to get you to a Bacta tank."
Yes.
And I said, "Now you know where I'm going to go with this later."
Oh, I know where we're going to go with this later, because I had similar thoughts for different groups of people.
Yeah, exactly. So of course, the great battle. You had the battle droids, coming in. And
I got to make a comment about the battle droids.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was watching this with my wife, and she says, "Yeah, I'm gonna call a scooter chase on this one." And she says, "Worst battle droids ever." They couldn't hit any of the people they were aiming at. All they did was they had a big, mean looking red eye.
Yes.
And she goes like, they can't hit anything, and they can barely walk. It's like,
Guys, were you surprised that the dark saber had no effect on the shields?
I thought that was interesting. And they hinted at something that I don't know enough about as far as Star Wars goes.
Yeah.
But I do know about it as far as Dune goes.
Yes.
Yeah.
He talked about our basically the idea of our energy weapons aren't working and our projectile weapons are too fast.
Yeah, exactly.
To go through the shield, which is kind of the idea of Dune. If you move really slowly, you can breach the shield.
Exactly.
But it looks to me like it's more than that. You can't exactly breach the shield just by going slow. Otherwise, Mando should have been able to get through the shield.
I think also, too, there were in the situation, the shield it's almost like there's a degrading of the shield until at one point you can go through.
Yes.
I
thought that was an interesting idea.
The same with the situation where, Mando, he jumps on top of one and tries to, do the old Jedi, I'm going to stick him in the eye.
Yes.
And still gets kicked off. But I find it interesting, of course, so I was a little surprised, but yeah, I mean, you didn't, the dark saber, I mean, if it could do all of that, you kind of take away from the story. But
I was there for just a short moment. I thought we were going to have a Hobbit and Sting kind of, Sam and Sting kind of situation where he was going to pull it out and just stab it up through the bottom, but didn't do that.
Well, this is the part, this is I didn't take
it's
all
the reunion.
It's the reunion, of course, kind of a makeshift rickshaw, with the robots in the front,
And it's so funny, she rides in like there's nothing.
Yeah.
Like there's not a big battle going.
Yeah, exactly.
She hasn't noticed.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, surprise, I found you. Turn around. Let's get out of here," Of course, you got everyone now backed up, all the forces backed up in one location.
Okay, so is anybody have an Alamo kind of feeling going on right here?
Yeah, exactly. I do too. Yeah, and of course you knew that was I mean, it's kind of.
I also had a Men in Black moment right there. Where the mod girl switches her little tiny cricket gun for the great big
for the big gun.
The big gun, yeah. Exactly. That's funny. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is probably the most touching part. While this is going on, Fett finally realizes that Grogu is there. And that was a touching moment for me.
Yeah.
I thought that is so cool. And then the next thing he sees, just jumps on him, and he sees the Beskar, and that solidifies to him he chose him over going to be a Jedi. And I thought that was really cool. That
was a great dad moment right there.
Yeah, it choked me up. Okay, I'm a big crybaby. Yes, I am. I mean, except,
it was a really great scene.
Yeah, so it was really good. And of course, the battle, of course, this is great. She threw a hammer on this guy to go faster. You remember that scene?
I know.
It was
faster.
Of course, this is the moment everybody was waiting for. We knew it was going to come.
Yes.
Okay, the Rancor. And I think everybody was like, where is the Rancor? Because he took off. He said, I'll be back. Okay.
The minute he left,
I knew
that was what was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I think we all, it's...
there wasn't a whole lot of what I would say as surprises in this episode. I mean, it was there were a couple of, okay, they solved it a little differently than I thought they would.
Yeah, exactly.
But they really did kind of wrap in everything I expected. I mean, I expected more people from Freetown.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of people. That
not like 15.
I mean, I thought, is that all the people? Because I think they had more people than that when they were fighting against that dragon in the first Mandalorian.
I know.
I mean, that was
they did before they fought the dragon.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like, I mean, they didn't kill that many people. I think the Sand People became lunch more than they were, for as far as I know. But I mean, yeah, I was expecting like a cavalry, an army coming in. And it was like, yeah, I mean, it was like people from the movie club showing up. Hey, where the movies at? I mean, it was very underwhelming.
Yes, I agree.
And it was predictable. We all knew they were going to come. So it's kind of one of those things. But anyhow.
But I guess we do know that Cobb's dead, right?
Oh, sure. Let's talk about that later.
Yeah,
you're
we'll
actually
get to that.
right. Yeah. So the Force.
But I don't think the other guy is.
Yeah, but I tell you what. I mean, of course, Grogu. He has still Force friendly.
Yes.
He's very Force sensitive, and of course, here is one of the great moments right here, tearing up one of those battle droids, I think. And I love this one right here. Let's eat somebody.
Yes, I was waiting for that.
I was waiting for that.
For the minute the Rancor showed up, I was like, when's he going to eat somebody?
When he's going to eat somebody.
When's he going to eat somebody?
Let's do it. Eat somebody now.
My favorite one was where he tossed the guy and he flew halfway across the city.
Yeah, it was
Fett
shot.
Go, ah!
Well, I mean, Fett shot the guy, and then the Rancor just threw him in the air, and you can hear him screaming. So, I mean, that was pretty cool. Now, this one, I was a little surprised. Apparently, of course, here is a confrontation between Bane, Fett, Rancor.
This is the one I was hoping he was going to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, Cad Bane is kind of a fun character. It would be cool to keep him around, but I thought, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
The perfect Rancor ate the guy.
Yeah. Apparently, what I did not know that Rancors do not like fire. That was kind of surprising to me. And I don't know if anybody knows any lore, Star Wars lore that has to do with the Rancor not liking fire, let me know. I've never heard of this before, and again, I mean, there's not a whole lot of history with them as far as I know. I mean, but I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that it literally made him run off. I thought that was a little surprising as well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was like this bond with his owner. They talked about this great bond between the two, and then he run tails out of there afraid with the fire. So that I was like, okay, this I wasn't expecting this. I thought there was a greater bond than that.
Dave was like, maybe because it burns.
Well, that's true. That's true. I can't really find big tucks for Rancors, but yeah. Of course, here we go. This is the show off here in
standoff. Everybody wanted to see.
And I mean, it was. Kind of in the reference in this situation, he has some final words, and what I think is interesting is in this is where you see a little bit of the history between the two.
Yeah, he
talks about you're just like your father; it's in your blood, murder. So, and then there was a comment in there where Fett said something referred to Bane as an old man. And then I thought about it. I thought, okay, did Bane know his father? How old is Bane? And then I started thinking, well, Bane was in the Clone Wars animation series as a bounty. So somehow that canon has crossed, and that reference, we get a little bit of that. What's your thoughts on that? What came across that? Yeah.
Throwing out that line of old man. So here's a couple of thoughts.
Yeah.
We are talking about aliens here.
Yes.
Number one. We are talking about a clone.
Yes.
Here. Grogu is a 50-year-old adolescent.
Yeah, exactly.
Or infant. A 50-year-old infant. Boba Fett is a clone that's maybe old for a clone. We don't exactly know, since he was an unaltered clone. Yeah. He didn't age quickly, but will he still age naturally? Or will he die early because he's a clone? And then Cad Bane is some other alien.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I don't have any idea what their life expectancy
is. Either.
He could be 100 years old and be a young man, as opposed to being 100 years old and being, next to death.
Yeah. I think
using the term old man could be reference to Boba Fett's age in general versus Cad, not necessarily meaning you're older than I am, but meaning you're closer to death based on age than I am.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Bane asks, "What's your angle?" And pretty much he talks about, I'm here to protect these people, and you need to leave. And I, one comment I remember saying, Fett says, "You're getting soft for your old age." He said, "Aren't we all?" And I don't know what reference he means by that, as we are all, but there was a lot of lines like this that made you wonder, okay, there had to be a deeper purpose. There was a deeper purpose to some of these lines.
Well, okay, so earlier I said I thought it was interesting that Cad Bane used, I get why he used the fact that the Pikes killed the Sand People while he killed the Pikes killed the Tuskens. I get that he used it to kind of draw him out and get some emotion going, but I also feel it was kind of one of those, I'm not really supposed to tell you this.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm going to tell you this because it's good for me too, because he uses this line later on, and it's right before, as he's got Boba Fett on the ground, he's got the gun to him, and he goes, "Consider this my final lesson."
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's something to the extent of always take care of yourself. It's the most important thing. Basically, the idea of look out for yourself. Anything else is weakness. That's what he says. So look out for yourself. Anything else is weakness, which kind of makes me go, okay, Cad Bane really did tell that story to draw Boba Fett out. But at the same time, he shared that story because it kind of puts the Pikes in a bad light.
Exactly. David Little says, Bane seems like a Chiss, and their lifespan is 80.
Okay, well, that's not too much more than a regular human then. So, I don't know the answer to that then. I don't know why he called him an old man if he knew his dad.
Yeah.
That doesn't, I'm not sure that jives. Or maybe his dad just has that reputation.
It could be. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, it's similar. I don't know what race he is, and I don't know
I think he is a Chiz.
Is Chiz? I said Chiz. Okay.
I think that's accurate. I've heard other podcasts talk about it.
Hey, it's Adria. Hey, Adria.
I thought it was cute how the mechanic woman tells the mayor's aide he was a cute tail.
Well, he has. Well, she has a thing for
escaping, she said, "There's no time for that now."
She went from really furry.
That was a great scene.
No hair at all.
Hey, she went from fur to tail in a hurry.
Oh,
Oh my!
Oh my! My!
Good call.
Well, thank you very much. I'm so glad you're on, Adria. We miss you so much.
So are we going to talk about the rest of this Cad Bane battle?
We are going to talk about the rest of it. And, of course, the whole time he is just giving it to Fett. I mean, his words, kicking him around.
You're weak. You're lazy. Weak. You're done.
Yeah, I mean, he had his helmet off, and he was ready to take him out. And in a Sand People fashion, I mean, he just took him out. I mean, I love the use of the Tusken, that I guess I call it Tusken stick. Is there a better term for that?
There is a word for it, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I did think it was interesting. Cad Bane had been telling him, you haven't changed. You're still a killer.
Yeah.
And I thought, just for a brief moment, he might somehow spare his life because of that line.
Yeah.
But nope.
But did he, and again, I can't remember, but because I thought the same thing in that moment. And he said, and Bane said that, but did Bane say something else? I can't remember that actually triggered that. Did he say one more thing? And I can't remember. If anybody can remember if there was one more.
What now? Wait, say that again.
Oh, my question is of course you're still a killer, and of course this is the scene where he's laying like that, and of course and he's at the point where he's about to kill Bane, and Bane made the comment that you're still a murderer, and there's that point we both were thinking that maybe he would spare his life.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if there was like one more comment that was made after that.
No.
Okay. So basically,
bam. Bane's last line is, "See, I knew you were still a killer," or something like that.
Yeah.
I've got an answer on how Cad Bane knows Boba Fett.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hit us,
Todd. They were both imprisoned at the same time by the Republic, and they were inmates together in the same prison.
So this must be
actually
pretty New
both,
Hope, yeah.
Bane was 42 and Fett was 12.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about before the Phantom Menace. We're talking about the old Republic. I mean,
calling him old man is probably more of a reference to you're old for a clone.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
David says they're called gaffy sticks.
Thank you, David.
He is right. I do recall that name.
Gaffy stick. That's right.
And Cad Bane is a Duros.
Oh,
that's the name of his species.
He's not
Duros.
Chiss is what Admiral Thrawn was.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
I knew that.
They both have blue skin.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that makes sense now. And then we use the Force on a very angry Rancor.
Rancor on the loose.
Well, what's interesting is that the Rancor came back and they all start shooting at him. Did that make any sense to you?
No.
And he climbs up to the tower like he's King Kong, and everybody's shooting at him.
The King Kong thing was a little weird. I was like, okay, if he grabs somebody flying around, somebody on a speeder.
He got a mod flying around him with a jetpack or something like that. Yeah, I the same way too. And finally, Mando says, "Stop shooting him. You're scaring him." But I mean, the Rancor was there to help them the whole time, and
were they there though?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm trying to think. Were they in a position where they would have seen the Rancor, or did he arrive on the scene?
That's a good question.
So maybe those particular group of people shooting hadn't seen it and didn't realize he was on their side.
Well, especially Freetown. I don't think they've ever had experience with the Rancor before, so maybe that had a lot to do with it.
The mods knew
it,
that he had the Rancor. They may not have known he brought it into town.
Yeah.
Come riding in on a Rancor. That doesn't happen every day.
I mean, it does not. This is due justice. Of course, when this happens, things start to settle down. Fett's people regain the town. But I love this part right here. They're just, here they are discussing, with the mayor and
yes.
the head pike, the cynic is saying, "We're heading back now," and the family's going, "Wait a minute,
leaving.
Wait a minute, how about us? We were told that, we would have, all this profit and money and all this." And he said, "Well, you also promised me this would be a friendly town for business," and it didn't happen. And this was so awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
The bad guys turn on the bad guys.
Well, no,
and then
this.
Finnick. Well, I just mean.
Oh yeah. There was this.
The Pikes basically go, "Oh yeah, we made
by
a
the
deal.
way.
Oh yeah, forget about that. You guys are done.
There were so
Have
many
fun
great.
with your Boba Fett."
She hung. It just all happened. It was so Batman-like,
Oh, I know.
Except with killing, and it was just so good. And what a great scene. Finnick's just there. She's saying, and I bet Fett didn't know anything. Do you think Fett knew anything about this or not?
Well, he said that she needed to go to the command control center to cut off the head. Remember?
That's right. So
yeah,
he did know.
She did. She did say, yeah, I think that's the way he said it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't remember exactly how he said it, but, he has told her before, hey, no killing. And she kind of half did what he said.
Exactly.
So I don't know exactly if he intended for her to just slaughter everybody, including the mayor.
I kind of wonder too. Since he is very angry that the Pikes did kill his family.
Yes.
That could be it too. That was kind of the last straw. But that was the.
Okay, so I know we've kind of skipped this part because we kind of blew past the Rancor, and are we not going to talk about the fact that basically Mando stuck his head into the Rancor's mouth?
Oh,
twice.
I know it exactly.
It was hysterical.
Yeah, he couldn't crack that nut. He couldn't crack that nut.
Wait, he's not going to do this again, is he? He's going to do it again.
Does anybody see the similarity between the Rancor and Grogu?
Well, there's some.
The Grogu kept putting that shiny little metal ball in his mouth.
No, yeah, exactly.
And then the Rancor puts his shiny little metal head in his mouth.
That is true.
And they're both babies,
You know what? And that's a good fact. They're both babies, and I thought it was interesting, going back to this scene. He cuddled up, up beside him, and fell asleep. Because, we all know that Grogu, when he uses the Force, exerts himself, he gets tired.
He wears himself out.
And I think when I saw this, it's like, okay, this is like the whole essence of, the Force and animals and just the symbiont of that, the connection of that all. So that was a pretty good scene.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I thought that was great. Skipping back just a little bit, I also thought it was kind of funny, kind of cool. And this is a callback to like the first season of Mandalorian. He tried to ride the Rancor.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You remember in the first season of Mandalorian, there's the Ognot guy who says, surely you can ride this. Mandalorians ride larger animals than this on their planet. And so the fact that he tried to ride the Rancor himself, I was like, okay, it didn't work, but it made perfect sense. He's like, okay, I've ridden bigger things. I rode this other beast. I can ride this one. Boba Fett rode it. I can ride it. And I thought it was a great callback, but obviously, like you said, it didn't work. And then the Rancor tried to eat him.
Now, I'm gonna try to follow my thought process here, because this chunk here goes almost to the post credits, to the beginning, our thoughts about what's going to happen later on. So just amuse me right now. But of course, in this situation at the end, the people come out and I think they're genuine about,
absolutely
genuine. They're, and he's our hero. He's our savior of our town.
Yeah.
People are genuflexing.
He's getting respect now.
And in this part, as they're walking, of course, it's funny to me because, of course, his right arm is hurt, and he says, "How many times I'm going to have to do this, this bow with my right arm?" But what's interesting, and we've talked about whether the Book of Boba Fett will, if this is it, as far as a series, and they talked a little bit, and of course, the first thing that Fett looks at Fennec and says, we're not really made for this.
Yeah.
And so, I'm just gonna let's go ahead. We're just gonna skip down and we'll do the other thing. But what's interesting, we all know, we think of the back to tank. This is the post credit. Now I have something that
post credit back to tank. So there's so many options for who might be in it.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, well, the one earlier we spoke of is
Black Chrysanthemum.
That's what we thought.
I was somewhat hopeful we were going to see one of the Gamorrean guards.
Exactly.
Maybe. But then the great reveal.
Exactly.
Cobb
and I'm excited about that.
Yes.
And then this scene, I love this, and it started having this cyberpunk, like in that mod shop, and there you go. I thought that was really good. But
makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense.
So this tells me now, because I'm thinking, because going back to this scene here, they looked at each other and saying, well, if we're not going to do it, then who is going to protect this town? Who's going to, I don't want to say reign over this town, but be watchful over this town or this planet? And I don't know if they meant exactly the Mos Espa as a point or a large chunk of Tatooine. But anyway, I start thinking, well, okay, Cad Bane, he's dead. Not Cad Bane.
Wait, is he?
Cobb
Vanth.
Cobb Vanth is dead. Well, we know he's not, but because we just show that scene. But they're thinking to themselves, well, who's going to? And you're right. That's right, because I didn't think about that. At this point, you would think they already. At this point, Fett already knows that they have Cobb. I mean, you would think so during this scene. Do you think they already found his body and had him in the back of the tank? Or do you?
Absolutely.
So and maybe that's his plan the whole time. He's thinking, okay, this is not for me. And so with that, do we think?
We do know, because she uses the line, "You need a good soak in the back of the tank," and he says it's being used.
It's being used.
So we do actually know that he knows.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to go through this first, just real quick, and then I want to discuss what the future of maybe Cobb Vanth is. But of course, this was this was before the post credit. Here we are, the Naboo fighter, and we all knew that Grogu was going to be in that empty empty droids bubble there.
Astromech.
Yeah. Now, and we go back to a callback from the beginning, and here he is. He has the little ball. He's banging on the window, and the whole time Mando's going, no.
It is great.
And then he says, okay, one more time. And then, bam. And I just thought that was funny, because that actually, that's the... we've seen that how many times with the little knob. So it was cute, and I really liked that.
It was a great callback.
But for me now, I'm looking at, and I'm hoping, because I've been saying in the beginning, I want to see a series with this man. I want to see a martial cowboy of space. And do you think that's what they have intent, or do you think this is it and it's done?
I don't know if we'll see a show, but there is the line, and I don't remember if you alluded to it or if you said it.
Yeah.
But Boba Fett says, "We're not suited for this."
Yeah.
And Fennec goes, "If not us, then who?" And Boba Fett just kind of looks at her with this not quite smile.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a knowing smile, or was that just, a weird look that Boba Fett has. I can't, it's that undetermined exactly what exactly that was supposed to mean. And then we have Cobb Vanth at the end, which it makes with that line, it makes sense for Cobb Vanth to kind of take the lead there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't see him taking the lead as the what's the term that he uses for himself?
As the I forget the name of the boss. It's kind of
the guy, basically the what the Hutt was and what he was.
Exactly.
But I could see Cobb Vanth taking the place as the mayor.
Or he could be the mayor, but I don't know. I think
do you think he would leave his town to be...
I've got something to toss.
Go ahead.
I don't think Cad Bane's dead.
I don't doubt that.
I mean,
because when they did the down shot on him, that the device on his chest was blinking, that red light.
Huh.
Yeah,
it could be.
Totally could be alive. And there's lots of places that could go.
And there's history now between Cobb and Cad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So that could be a whole storyline.
Yeah. I had a question for you guys. Talking about Fett and Cobb, do you think Do you think Fett felt a little guilty about having taken the old armor? There was a point in the thing. There was a point in the showdown between Fett and Cobb that he talked about killing the sheriff, and he said, "Well, you should have never left him without his armor." And do you think Fett was affected by that? Do you think there was a part of him that wish he would have left the armor with him for protection? Well, I mean, actually, it was Mando who did that.
Mando took it, not Fett.
But I mean, well, that's odd because he made that comment to. He didn't make it. Cat didn't make that comment to Mando. He made it to Fett. So,
maybe Cad Bane didn't quite know the whole story.
I don't know. I just thought that
he knew
odd.
that Cobb Vanth had the armor and now doesn't.
Yeah.
But maybe he didn't quite know the whole story of how it I guess if that's the case, it could make sense.
Yeah.
He would think Boba Fett took it, and he didn't.
And who who redid his armor? I mean, you think about it. Fett's armor when Vant had it was all beaten up. I mean, it looked like it's went through war, all scratched up and everything. And then when Fett got it, I mean, it's cleaned up. You can tell that it's spanking, not spanking new, but there's definitely some craftsmanship that went into it. And maybe I'm just reaching straws, but that's odd to me. He would have been able to do that besides the armor or someone that had that kind of skill. But I think
I don't know.
I don't think there's any meaning behind it. It was just an observation.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was still pretty scratched up when Boba Fett's wearing it.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. I mean I'd have to go back and watch The Mandalorian to make sure, but to see the difference.
I didn't use any of that. Those erase bars where you take the scratches off.
Magic erasers.
Yeah. So anyway, what do you think? What do you guys think is going to go after this? I mean, what's the next step? I mean, we know that Kenobi, but that's a different timeline.
Yeah, it's a different timeline. Personally, I think this is just a way to get us to Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
I really don't think we're gonna see a Boba Fett season 2.
I agree.
Book of Boba Fett 2.
I agree.
I personally, as much as you want it, I don't think we're going to get a Cobb Vanth show.
I want a Star Wars Justified show,
I know. But I do think we now have a set of characters that will show up from time to time.
Yeah, exactly.
And very likely, if Djarin decides to make a trip to Mandalore,
yeah,
he could call in favors.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you think now with Grogu back, he's with his his Mandalorian father. Do you think as they're taking off, do you think that the Mandalorian is going to try to honor his name again on behalf of his clan?
I think that's what Mandalorian season 3 will be.
Okay.
Trying to regain his honor. How? I don't know.
Yeah.
Will it be in the first episode or two?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think that will be the overarching.
Because eventually I thought the Mandalorian would kind of move away from his creed. Not so much the essence of the creed, but become a little more relaxed with the creed because of his interactions with Grogu and that situation.
Well,
like when he
kicked, I was gonna say getting kicked out. I wondered if he wouldn't start just breaking his creed from that point on. But so far no.
Yeah, it seemed like it even kind of became more. It became this is the way, this is our creed. His
but I
word,
guess if he's really sold out to getting his honor back, then he would continue the process.
Yeah,
he would keep up what he couldn't undo what he's done.
Yeah,
but he can avoid doing it again.
Yeah, I guess so.
What do you think, Todd?
I'm sorry, I was researching something.
Oh, where do you think this is all going? Is there going to be a Book of Boba Fett 2?
No, I think that it was, like you said, it was a means to get to the next season of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Also that the characters are going to be making interwoven interactions with Mandalorian and other shows that may spring forward.
Yeah.
I personally am still hoping that there's a chance that we could get into the Bounty Hunter Wars. I don't know. If to me it feels like it's done.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
I kind of hate that, but
the
way they isolated Boba Fett.
If Cad Bane had flown off and kind of with his tail between his legs, I would say maybe we're headed for something.
We could.
But with him supposedly dead, mostly dead, it doesn't feel like it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
like he could show up again, but I don't feel like it's a main theme.
Yeah, not at this point.
Yeah,
I think he was more for for dramatics for this episode.
Yeah, if he had found out that the heads of that the Pike head and the heads of all the other families were all killed.
Yeah, and
he had said, well, I guess my job is over because the people that were paying me don't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no point in me fighting with you, and have walked off and left.
Yeah.
Then I think we might have a clear indication that something else was going to happen later on. But
I mean,
go ahead.
Ahsoka's looking for Thrawn.
As far as we know, and so too. I mean, as far as we know, and of course, she did ask about the Admiral in the second season of The Mandalorian. So she was looking for Thrawn, and I think whoever was over that town or over that whatever fort that was, she knew. She was actually I think she was acted like she was like a subordinate of Thrawn. Yeah. So I think I think so. I think part of it, Thrawn is a major, it's going to be the adversary in this. Now, is it going to be about, going after Ezra? I don't know, because the last thing we saw on the animated series of Rebels was, Ezra, basically using the space wells. to take back, Thrawn back, wherever they went. I mean, it was like a hyper jump something or other they did with those space wells. And so, and of course, at the end of it too, Ahsoka and Sabine, they talked about going and finding him. So I don't know. I'm assuming we might see Sabine too. I hadn't looked any new information on Ahsoka. I do know they've casted more people for it, and I hadn't had a chance to check IMDb. Do you have any information on that, Ricky? Can you look that up and see on Ahsoka? I know they're supposed to have some. They actually hired on some new actresses for it.
The last information I can find is that they're not going to start shooting until at least the spring of this year.
Oh, so really?
If they're in production, they haven't started production yet. So
what are they going to do with this lull? I mean, I guess they got Kenobi coming up.
They got Kenobi coming up. That'll be 6 episodes, I think.
I was reading there's actually 3 people playing. I was reading somewhere that there was actually 3 actors playing. They actually playing Vader, of course, the main one.
Well, we're gonna. I could see that. We'll see. There will be some guy in the costume.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not Hayden Christensen, and then we'll have Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
And then, if we have a flashback, we could have another kid, Anakin, at some point.
Oh no. Let's not do that.
I don't know what else we do. I don't know what else
the third be as bad as the other one.
I don't know who the third one would be.
Yeah.
But other than the stunt double, which that doesn't count in my brain.
No, it doesn't count.
Left definitely an actor, definitely deserves his credits, but I don't consider when you say multiple people will play this character, the stunt double is not somebody I count.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that.
But yeah, I don't know. Right now, I'm just focused on getting Kenobi done, and
exactly.
I think Ahsoka is probably at the earliest going to be December or early January next year.
Exactly.
And then
did the Acolyte get canceled?
I think the Acolyte I think has been delayed at best. Andor is the other show.
Yeah.
Andor is the other live action that is slated that we expect to see, that's actually got actors attached and all that. There was the Rangers of the New Republic or something, but with Cara Dune out, that kind of fizzled. And then I want to say the movie, the Rogue Squadron movie, has been delayed indefinitely.
Yeah.
Which, that's two at least. Three. That's 3 big properties they were planning on releasing that have, at the very least, been delayed indefinitely, if not canceled completely.
Yeah. Is the Acolyte the one about the Sith royal family?
Maybe High Republic, or it's early. It's like
very, very
way
old.
before.
Yeah,
way before the prequels kind of content. Was my understanding, but I don't know a whole lot about that one because it got shelved so quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know they were talking to the actress that played Wonder Woman, to be the Sith daughter, the princess, or whatever.
Oh, Gal Gadot could be good.
She would have been awesome at that.
They're getting Patty Jenkins. Patty Jenkins is supposed to be directing the Rogue Squadron movie.
Yeah, so there's a connection there.
So there is a connection there. It would be great. I'd love to see her. I think
she would be great.
As a Star Wars actress, I think it'd be fantastic.
Well, anybody in our audience, do you have any comments or any things you would like to see coming up next in the Star Wars universe, or anything is happening that we haven't mentioned? Please make a comment soon. I know before we wrap up the show, we like to hear from you and anything that you want to express while we're still here.
What did we miss? What did we get wrong?
Exactly. What a slow start to this series, and man, did it just ramped up to the end. It went from Downton Abbey to Armageddon.
I was gonna say it did kind of go from 0 to hero in like an episode or two. It was
Downton to Armageddon. That's what happened there.
Kind of a crazy ride.
I got a question.
Mr. Cotta.
Okay.
Mr. Cotta.
The mod scooters
squad.
Yeah.
Okay. They were still but
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But Fennec's scooter,
man, it zoomed.
It took off.
It's rusty, that's why.
Because it was old and busted.
Exactly, just like us.
Okay.
Just like us.
Yes.
New hotness. Old and busted.
Old and busted.
And the old and busted.
That's right. That's right.
That's
so everyone
funny.
listening out there, hey, old and busted is the way to go.
That's right.
Well, I think that's all. Unless we don't have any more comments, I think we milked this Rancor as much as we can, and I think we'll be back next week. It'll be 8 p.m. Central Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. This Friday night.
What we're going to talk about?
Yeah, let's tell you a little bit what we have planned. If all
goes well. Do you know what we have planned?
Yes, we talked about it before. I think we do. Whatever you say, we have planned.
I was going to ask if you remembered. We are going to finally review Marvel's Eternals.
That's right.
We're going to take some time. We're going to go through the movie, and we're going to review that movie for you. I know it's been out for a while, but some of you might be interested.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. All about.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll talk about all the things that we were concerned about on that film, and whether or not we were right.
Exactly.
And so that will be a big part of what we talk about.
And how it may affect the future as far as storyline for the MCU universe.
And there actually are some things that are consequential there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We'll talk all about it. So if you haven't seen Eternals yet, you can watch it right now on Disney+.
That's right. And you can check us all our content and goodies on www.speakingnerdy.com. Hopefully I have it updated. All right.
Hopefully all the links are
the links are still working there. Well, that's it. Let's call it good, guys. Good show.
Awesome. This has been the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Silly.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Pope.
I'm tired.
How do you milk a Rancor anyhow? Do they have teats?
I don't.